Hello, and good day, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I'm Dave Boles, and this is Boles.tv. Hey, it's Boles Television coming to you live from the East Coast of the United States. Oh, and I forgot to turn on my lights. So now I have to go to this screen and turn on my lights. I'll leave my mic on so we can have a little chat about it, but what an embarrassment. What's wrong with you? Why don't you have your lights on? Oh my gosh. There's one light up. Two light up. Three light up. Now the green flashing lights are going to probably be annoying to you because they're flashing. Now there's something like 8 settings for that light that, they flash, they blink, they go on, they go off, they stay on, they mainly stay up. But because I forgot to do it, I'm just, hey, click the button as fast as I could. And I like how I'm sort of in focus, and then the lights were out of focus, but now everything's in focus, because that's what an automatic camera does for you. So we have such a great start to our live show today. What's wrong with you? I don't know, I just got here. I'm blaming it on the weather. The last 2 days has been rainy and icky and foggy and hot and muggy. All the wonderful things you really don't expect until August. But it seems like certain parts of these United States are in the middle of a heat wave. Never seen such a demand. We don't call it climate warming. We don't call it global warming. We call it climate change. And it's changing for the hotter. And it's an ugly day outside. Now, what's getting sunnier is, I can barely see my little thing here. Or my thing here. My latest escapade in skin cancer. These 2 white dots here that I'm told will never go away. Will remain there forever as evidence of my original skin cancer removals. Now, there is the temptation to make some kind of ornamentation out of them. One's a baseball, one's a moon, color one in, a gold color, make it the sun, and connect them somehow as a tattoo. Now, that would be cool, right? Get a face tattoo connecting my scars. Why not? Own it, as they say. Now, speaking of owning it, I'm just reminded of this conversation I had with a friend of mine named Mary many, many years ago. Let's say the 1990s. And around that time, AIDS was becoming more, not well known, but more manageable medically. Things were sort of calming down. People weren't dying as often. And my friend Mary, who was gay, lesbian, as she would always call herself, we were talking about, owning it. And there was this new sort of political attack by the gay community to own some of the worst words that have been flung against them. Now, some people would say, it's the N-word. A white person can't use the N-word, but it can be used as a term of endearment between 2 people of color. I don't know. I don't say the N-word. And my friend Mary was saying there's this new thing that you're not supposed to call yourself gay anymore, or even lesbian anymore. You're supposed to self-identify as queer. And we had a TV show not long after that, right? Queer eye for the straight guy, whatever it is. And she told me, she was older at that time, maybe, 30. And she told me she hated it. She said all her life she has fought against being called or calling herself queer. Hated it. And I said, well, what do you prefer? She said, gay. That's what we've been using, for most of my adult life. Why can't we keep using that? But, you say gay now and you get quickly corrected by, the people you're out with in the community. They say, no, 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 you're not gay, you're queer. I thought that was really interesting. But the idea is people used to, call people the F word if they were gay or queer. So they say, look, these terrible words that are used against us, let's own them and exaggerate them, and then they lose their meaning as an insult. Okay, interesting thought. So that's what made me realize that, I should connect these somehow and own my history of skin cancer. I don't think I would get approval from the giant monster, though. You get a face tattoo there. Go all Mike Tyson on myself. Now, I think you could do it sort of subtly and with a little bit of grace. I don't think my skin doctor would approve, because he would say, I want to see the margins. Maybe it'll come back. Don't cover up. Leave it as it is. So how's your day? Are your lights on? My lights are now on. So last time we talked about a lot of things. Talked about the war in Ukraine. We haven't heard from our friend Alexander for 5 months. And then he popped back up. It said hello, and everything seems to be fine and pretty much unchanged. And then a couple of days ago, he posted a message that I will share with you now that I found interesting, if not a little disconcerting. Okay, so this is Discord, right? We all know what Discord is. This is Alexander's new server, and I think we're the only ones on it. And he's posted his images and updates. It's only been up for a few days. And then this is his message to me. I am writing where I have only one friend from the audience. That's me. So he's sending this to me. But if other people were there, they could see it. I now have 6 days, and this was 2 days ago, 4 days. I now have 4 days to the most important decision in my life. I'm going to serve in the army, the Ukraine army. And after my studies, I guess, basic training, I'm going to the guys in the Donetsk region. Now, that is a major development, because this horrible, ridiculous war in Ukraine has been going on for over a year now, right? And Alexander has 3 very young children. He said because of the age of his children, he is exempt from serving in the army. And he's been struggling with himself for a year, and he shared that with us on this live stream. And he's struggled with sending his children to another country for safety. He's struggled with wanting to go volunteer full-time in the army. They don't have any money. He collects money and buys, daily goods for the troops, and they drive the goods up to the front. So he's been playing a very important support role for the past year, and he's always felt that pull to pick up a gun. Now, he has been on, I don't know if they call it station duty, where, if you want to go into a certain area, you have to pass by a checkpoint, and he volunteers with other people to run that checkpoint. And he says if people don't have the right papers, or if they just, try to steamroll through the checkpoint, then they have guns and they will shoot them. And they look like AK-47s, the Russian-made guns. So I know he's been preparing himself mentally for this, and I'm sure that if something terrible happens to him, he's going to be very upset. and his children are going to be very sad, but he feels he needs to do this for the greater glory of Ukraine and to finally and completely defeat Putin. So we are definitely and certainly with him all the way in that effort. Good luck, friend. I hope we can get updates from you if it's at all possible while you're training or, in your downtime, when you're not fighting or whatever you're going to be doing, find a way to let us know. And he always has so far, except when he disappeared for 5 months. And we thought something terrible had happened to him. But I guess that was like, the spring and nothing really big was going on in the war. Everything was just kind of held in place until, everything thawed and everything becomes mud and they can start killing each other again. So, hey, what else is going on? Well, as you know, I'm studying Italian, learning Italian. I think I'm almost in my second week now. I am not fluent. I am un po', a little bit in everything. I know a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And because I'm doing reviews of, language apps and language journeys, which I'll share with you from time to time when there's live stream, because it's not just Italian, it's learning any language whatsoever. And I even have books that I'll share with you on the next broadcast, simulcast, that puts to rest this idea that if you're old and an adult, you can't learn a language very well. The incorrect theory has been if you're a child, you learn a language faster and quicker because you're young and you absorb things. Whereas older people, adults, have locked into a certain language and they can't learn a new language very easily. And these books say it's not true. And they tell you how to fluently learn as many languages as you like. And they say once you learn one, then like sort of by default, depending on the language, like 2 or 3 extra. Because English is very strange with a lot of weird rules and not many people speak it very well from a functional point of view if English is not your origin language, as they say. But if your origin language is, say, Italian or French or German, then you can probably speak many of those languages, at least a little bit, because they have the same sentence structure, same idea, and a lot of the same ideas when it comes to word sharing. So as part of my Italian study, I sometimes now get news. Hey, it's Jana Maria's here. English language is a challenge for Jana Marie. I know. English is a very, very, very strange language. And one neat thing is, and I'll review this later, there's an app. I just found it a couple days ago called Busuu. It's a Czech company, Busuu, and it teaches you as sort of like a mixture. So I can't talk about it specifically yet because I want to show you what it's a mixture first, show you what the origins are. It's like a mixture of memrise and I would say like babble. But the thing that's interesting about Busuu is its community feature. And of people, learning languages in the world, the number one language to learn, foreign language, is English. Followed by Spanish, of course, and then I believe French, and then I think Italian's fourth. But English is by far, by a score of 2-1, the most popular foreign language to learn. And Busuu allows you to type answers to prompts like, describe what's going on in this photograph or tell a story about growing up. And people can either type their response or they can speak their response, have it recorded, and then they send it out into the Busu app, where then the community or other people can listen to what they say or correct their spelling. And you can see exactly who you're dealing with. And I think into Italian, I'm at 2% learning. And there's this one woman named Maria, and she is Italian, learning English, and her capacity of learning English in Busu is now, I believe, at 94%. So she has been at this for a long time. And the charming thing is with the brand new speakers of English, they are pronouncing their words carefully, and you can respond to them and help them. And it's really, really charming in that you can help each other. The community helps the community to develop your vocabulary and to make corrections. And, there can be 10 people giving feedback on somebody's, voice message, or somebody 10 different revisions of something that's been typed. And that sort of, wisdom of the crowd is incredibly helpful. And it all happens inside the app. It's sort of irresistible if you've, lived your life as an editor or a writer or a speaker, to see someone trying to, learn your language, and you can help them a little bit. It's really terrific. So this woman, I think maybe her name is Marta, not Marie. There are 2 or 3 people. You become friends, and then they review your stuff and you review their stuff, but I don't have many friends. I just started. And so she had a long thing about looking at a dog and is hungry, and this is all recorded on her voice, and is looking, and it was really well done, except after almost every word, she added an A. Is that her accent, or is she just, thinking? Now, when you think, and she thought a couple of times, she would pause and say, that's understandable, perfectly normal. But when you say dogga instead of dog, or ownera instead of owner, when you add an A to all those words, it does sound like someone pronouncing English words as sort of Italian words. And it's just a little tiny bit of a crutch. And so I mentioned that to her and mentioned something else. And she replied back pretty quickly and said, yeah, I'm very nervous about speaking English. And so that's why I'm, fumbling around and adding A's to the end of words. I know better. But as always, thank you for the correction. I'm working on it. Okay, then. So I've put up a couple of, very short voice messages like, what is your name, and where are you from, and where do you live? And, you get back some fairly kind critiques. So that's one thing that's very interesting that Busu does that the other apps and online communities really can't and don't. But more of that later. Speaking of Italy, this popped up right before we went live. Italy vows to find and punish a tourist who defaced the Colosseum. Now, what I just did is I double-clicked on tourist, which brings up Reverso. Now, Reverso is one of my translation apps, dictionaries. The other is DeepL, DeepL.com. I don't know if it's DeepL or DeepL, I don't know. That's very good. And then there's Reverso, which I think is even better. And so tourist is the English word. I double click on it and translates it into Italian for me, which is turisco, recettiva, turista, turismo, all the different forms, yeah? And so let's say you click on one and you get this wonderful feedback with examples and pronunciation.
Anche la parte recettiva che abbiamo creato sottolinea il potenziale turistico di questa terra.
Okay, more than you asked for. But what a wonderful thing. Now, if you're learning language 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 35 years ago, who wouldn't want an app like this? Like Reverso, that you click on something and you get the definition in a dictionary. And then you can even click on it and it pronounces the words for you properly in the Italian language. And it's not just Italian. You can change it to whatever language you like. I think there are 14, 15 languages you can use. So Italy, as an entire country, has vowed to find and punish a tourist who defaced the Colosseum wall. Now, this is the Colosseum in Rome, where, the gladiators fought. There are tourists writing on the wall. And you think, how could they possibly be so crass? Well, you're going to find out. Italian authorities are looking for a tourist who scribbled graffiti on a wall of the Colosseum with Culture Minister Gennaro Sanguilano calling for exemplary punishment for the so-called, so far, unidentified man. Now, see, if I click on this again, this is the Reverso icon. It will translate all of this into Italian for me. And if I'm on an Italian website and I'm struggling to learn something, I can highlight it like that, click on it, and it will give me the translation. The tourist was caught in a video posted on social media on Saturday, scratching his and his girlfriend's name with a key, using a key. And when we say key, it's a key on an internal wall of the ancient Roman stone amphitheater. He left the inscription, Ivan plus Haley, 23. The tourist can be seen smiling, even as the author of the video, speaking in English and using swear words, reprimands him. Now, that's the whole, I guess there's some kind of weird romanticism about carving your name and initials in things. I remember growing up in the Midwest, people would carve their initials into trees. Why? They would carve their initials and their love into picnic tables. Why? Well, I guess if you're, in Rome, and there are no trees, no picnic tables, hey, use the Colosseum to scratch your name in for all of antiquity. In a statement released on Monday, San Giuliano condemned the defacing of one of the most famous places in the world as a very serious, unworthy, and sign of great incivility. I hope that whoever did this will be identified and punished according to our laws. The police are investigating, and the man risks a fine of 15,000 euros, $16,415, and a jail sentence of up to 5 years. Built 2,000 years ago. The Colosseum was the biggest amphitheater in the Roman Empire. Yeah, that Colosseum. And used to host gladiator fights, executions, and animal hunts. Today, it is Italy's most popular tourist attraction. I would love to go. Now, I understand there are people who dress in gladiator outfits and stand outside the Colosseum and try to sell you photographs and plastic swords. According to ANSA, the monument has repeatedly suffered acts of vandalism, with dozens of visitors caught in recent years leaving inscriptions or trying to steal stone fragments from the monument. It's a terrible thing. What's wrong with people? Who are these people? So it makes you wonder, why people, would go to Italy, go all the way to the Colosseum, and then just, want to write on it. I guess a selfie's not enough. Now, that story reminded me of this story that's been going along since at least, 2019, earlier. When a selfie goes too far. How Holocaust memorial sites around Europe combat social media disrespect. And what this means is people go to these sacred sites where millions of people were killed. And they're not there to take a photograph of the history of the place. They are there to take a selfie of them standing in the history of the place, but making themselves the center of the photograph. How does this happen? Why does this happen? It's completely grotesque. And you see it all over Instagram. It's still going on. Organizers at the Auschwitz Museum tweeted a plea last week for respect, asking visitors to stop posting selfies on the railway tracks leading into the building. The same tracks that transported trainloads of prisoners during World War II. And you've seen it. You can do a search. There are people who, sprawl out on these railroad tracks and say, look at me. I'm going into Auschwitz. Ha, 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 ha. When those are the same train tracks that brought in trainloads of Jews into the gas chamber. Somehow the history's lost on them, where they become more important than the history. When you come to the Auschwitz Museum, remember you are at the site where over 1 million people were killed. Respect their memory. There are better places to learn how to walk on a balance beam than the site which symbolizes deportation of hundreds of thousands to their deaths. In an age where social media has become ubiquitous, Holocaust memorials face a special challenge when it comes to educating their visitors about appropriate posts. While the debate is not new, it is bound to continue as social media sites become increasingly integrated into the lives of young people. And the Holocaust falls further into the past. The boundaries between acceptable and unacceptable photos can be fluid. One can find both ordinary photographs and so-called selfies, accompanied by a very emotional message, showing that the author of such a photograph knew where he was and the photograph was intended to commemorate the visit. Here, in this image, a visitor takes a selfie near the main gate of Auschwitz. Auschwitz-Birkenau. In Poland, 2018. Hey, look at me, I'm in front of Auschwitz. Why? Why are they making themselves the moment? There are cases, however, when it clearly is visible that the authors of such photographs took the images for fun without being aware of the place where they were. And sometimes the site of the former camp is used as a stage for stupid jokes. Selfies are part of today's cultural experience in the virtualization of the world. Now, here we go. Look at this, okay? This is a very famous monument. 2 visitors sit on the monument to the murdered Jews of Europe. These are like, columns. Also called the Holocaust Memorial, right? You walk in and out of these cubes of concrete, visualizing all of the people, the masses of people who were murdered by the Germans, okay? And here you have 2 people who are sitting on top of the memorial for dead Jews, chatting. Maybe they're having a picnic. I don't know. But it's grotesque. And they should be shamed. These are the railroad tracks that lead to the entrance of Auschwitz. Taken January 27th, 2018. Trains brought people to the camp. Now, this, to me, is an appropriate photograph. You're taking a photograph of something that you would want to remember and share. The train tracks going into the death camps. The last outside view of the free world that these Jews saw before they went inside the camp, if they were lucky enough to even be able to see where they were. And then you have people, as they said, there's one where a person is, balancing, on one foot on the railroad track. Hey, look at me, I'm on a balance beam going into Auschwitz. Here's another article about the same thing. Should Auschwitz be a site for selfies? These are 3 people right outside the front gate. Oh, look at us. Here we are at Auschwitz. You just wonder where people are coming from. And here's actually an article that was written, published in a journal, Sage Journal. Memory Studies. Selfies in Auschwitz. Popular and contested representations in a digital generation. I'll share this on our Discord server if you want to read more about it. This is a theoretical, interesting deep dive into what is going on at the Holocaust Memorial. Selfie at the Auschwitz concentration camp. This woman knows where she is, knows what she's doing, published on her Twitter account, and she is smiling and grinning with her bared teeth. Like she's on vacation. With this smiley emoji with the rosy red cheeks. So this is a shifting generational problem with the Holocaust. Selfies at Auschwitz. What is the meaning of photography, memory, and self-visualization? Where do we fit in this world? Here's another image. Israeli youth delegation, 1993, taking photos at the iconic entrance to Auschwitz. Is that appropriate? Are they remembering? Are they mocking? Are they in the middle somewhere? I guess it all depends on your intention. The survivor witnesses reading a tribute to his murdered family at a delegation ceremony on the ruins of the crematoria. Is that appropriate for a photograph? A crematoria giving a speech? I think so. It's history upon history. History reflecting history. And this is probably the most interesting, insightful quote in this whole idea. Udi Nir, director of the documentary film on Israeli Auschwitz, visits Uploading Holocaust, noted an important change he calls the touring around of the camera. If in the 1980s, when these journeys to Auschwitz started, people who went there tended to film the places they came to see. Then, as the years went by, people started to film mainly themselves in these places. The people who were commemorating became the center of the commemoration. And that is a generational twist. From the 80s, when they opened, 20 years later, a new generation comes and makes the Holocaust all about themselves. And you wonder, what's wrong with society? How have we lost our empathy? How have we lost our direction? How have we lost where we want to go as a group of human beings in this world together? When you come to the Auschwitz Museum, remember you are at the site where over 1 million people were killed. Respect their memory. There are better places to learn how to walk on a balance beam than the site which symbolizes deportation of hundreds of thousands to their death. And the Auschwitz Memorial posted these images of these people balancing on the train tracks into Auschwitz. Do we call it bad parenting? That's what I would call it. Because it's not on the kids to know better. It's not on the schools to teach the kids to know better. It's not on the peers to teach the kids to know better. It's the parents who are responsible for teaching the kids how to properly behave. And when there's a lack of parenting, you get a larger lack of self-awareness and self-control and accountability. Because if the parents are not holding their children to be accountable, then to whom are the children accountable to except for themselves and their own selfies? And that's the lesson of this. Don't tell me what to do. I tell you what to do. What do you mean? Well, I didn't have good parents, so I just make all my decisions on my own and the world revolves around me. Because that's what my parents let me think. And hey, speaking of Italy, this also was in the news just today. It's a crazy story. A teacher who avoided going to work for 20 years using sick leave, holiday, and permits to attend conferences is dubbed Italy's worst employee. Who has that much sick leave? A teacher who avoided going to work for 20 years is the worst employee in Italy. Cinzio Paolina De Leo was employed by a secondary school near Venice to teach literature and philosophy, but showed up only 4 out of the 24 years she worked there. The disgraced teacher, who is now 56 years old, was finally fired on June 22nd. Even on a rare occurrence when she did show up to teach, her pupils went on strike. After she texted during their oral exams, gave out grades randomly, and didn't have a copy of the textbook. De Leo was described by Italian Supreme Court as permanently and absolutely unsuitable for the job, despite her claims to have 3 degrees. I guess that's her. She even refused a request for comment from Italian journalists because she was at the beach. Eventually, her actions caught up with her and caught the attention of school inspectors who described their lessons as confused. Then the school sacked her. I guess it's sort of easy if you live in Italy to get away with this kind of things because she's not the only one. In 2021, it was revealed that public health worker Salvatore Scumace, 66, had allegedly cost the state $538,000 as he falsely claimed to work as a fire safety officer in the hospital at Catanzaro for 15 years. He was only seen at the hospital one time, on the day he went to sign his work contract in 2005. As a result, he was dubbed the king of absenteeism and was charged with aggravated extortion, fraud, and abuse of office. So there you go. Hey, I guess if you can get away with it, there are people who will try to get away with it. Again, bad parenting. Her parents obviously didn't teach her the value of a day's work. Or maybe they were, on the dole too. Who knows? So last time we were together, we talked about Duolingo, which is really one of the most popular language learning tools you can possibly have. And there are a lot of people who don't like Duolingo because they say it's too gamified. They want you to log in every day and beat other people to move up the leaderboard. And all that's true, but it's still pretty fun. And if you're lucky like me, you can get a very cute plushie. This is Duo of the Duolingo. Now, Duo is a lot of fun. We have a couple of these. One for me, one for the monster. And as you learn in Duolingo, they have several cartoon friends. And the main cartoon person is Duo, this wonderful wise owl who teaches you how to speak different languages. It's a lot of fun. And I guess if you do if you're not a paying person, because I guess Duolingo is free, but if you sign up for 9 languages and do 1 lesson in each language, you get unlimited hearts, which I guess means you never have to stop if you make a mistake. Otherwise, if you make a lot of mistakes, Duolingo will make you stop and go back in time and wait 5 hours before you can continue your lesson, which then puts you behind if you're in a competition to try to beat other people. So Duolingo is a lot of fun, very lightweight, very silly. And at the end of the last conversation, I told you about this. Oh, here we go. This different is LingoDeer. And as I said last time, and as I'm now confirming with you, LingoDeer is Duolingo that punches you in the face. Duolingo is from a Philadelphia company. As I understand it, LingoDeer is in, I believe, Korean company. So right from the beginning, you have different work cultures, different work plan studies, different expectations. And LingoDeer is gamified, but much more unforgiving than Duolingo, as I'm about to show you. Now, as you can see, I have been doing this for maybe 10 days because I find new things and then I try them. I try to get caught up, try to get past the basics, and try to get into something interesting. So I'm now into food and drink. This is my daily goal. I have a 5-day streak, so I've only been using this for 5 days. I have 2 of 31 achievements. I don't even know what that means. Now, what's nice is you can test out of levels. Now, some foreign language apps don't let you test out. You're forced to do every single lesson. It's nice that you can move ahead if you feel you can. I do not feel that way. I need as much help as I can get. So here's an example. We click on food and drink, okay? Learning tips. Vocabulary, review, start. Okay, none of this looks familiar to me because I usually use it on my phone. Learning tips. Oh, I click on that, nothing's there. Okay, vocabulary. What'd I do? Oh, okay, so this is the vocabulary in the lesson. This is different from what I see on my phone. So banana is banana, pizza is pizza, manger is to eat, mela is apple, believe it or not, panino, right, sandwich, torta is cake, tono is tuna, forchetta is fork, pesca, peach. Now, you might think pesca is fish, but it's not. It's a peach. Prosciutto is ham. Start practicing, old man. Oh, now my leg is cramping. Okay, so here we go. Choose the right picture. Select apple. Okay, now, they're being very kind to you. They're not punching you in the face yet. So you look at the images, and then you pick the one that you think is apple. Mela. Hey, and then you go check. Nicely done. Then you continue on. Select banana. Well, there's no picture of Jana Marie Sweetheart, so it must be the fruit they're talking about. Let's click on the banana. Check. Continue. I'm doing well. I think this is my lesson from yesterday. To eat. Mangiare. Bere is to drink. Dormire is to sleep. Corriere is to run. Ito. Click. Check. Continue. Doing well. Sandwich. Tono. No. Prosciutto. No. Pizza. Yes. No. Panino. Panera. Panino. C. Check. Correct. Continuing on. Select pizza. Yes, please. Meow. Check. Yes. Now, one thing about this, all of these are the right answer. Now, sometimes some of these apps will like mix things around and put a banana on a pizza just to confuse you, but that's not doing this because we're brand new. Now, mix and match. Match the words to the translation. So, mela and apple. That's a hard one to remember. You just have to remember it. Pizza and pizza. Jana and Jana. Panino and sandwich. Meow. Continue. Apple. Okay, so this is where you get to click to spell. I prefer clicking to spell. Sometimes you have to actually use a keyboard. And keyboards, sometimes you hit the wrong button and you click check and you get it wrong. And it's very frustrating. With this, it's not as hard to recover from an error. So if you spell something wrong, you can put it right back just by clicking on it. Check and Z. Nicely done. Meow. Select cake. Pane, banana, jana, torta, pizza. I will say torta. Meow. Check. Nicely done. Continuing on. Select a beach. A beach is not fish. It's pesca. We will check. And we will go. Now, these are very easy because the word is right under the image. What did the deer say? I didn't hear what the deer said. I don't know if I can hear what the deer said. Let's see it.
Pesca.
Oh, pesca. Pesca. Pesca's peach. Okay, check. Meow. Continue. Select ham. We know as prosciutto. Check. Continuing on. Select tuna. It's very easy because they have the picture. Now, when we get into making sentences with these words, it's much harder. I guess this is my vocabulary review and not a new lesson that I was hoping to do with you. Fork. Cucchiaio is a spoon. A pentola is a pot. A torta is a cake. A forchetta. Meow.
Forchetta.
Fork. Correct. Thank you. Now we mix and match. Torta, we know is cake. We know prosciutto is ham. We know pesca is peach. And we know tonno is tuna. Meow. Now spell tuna. T-O-N-N-O. Now sometimes they leave, other extra letters because you don't know what you're doing. But they're being nice to us because they know that we're new. Fork. Okay, now here we go. Now this is going to be much more complicated. So F, forchetta, F4, C-H-E. Okay, so you know it's two T's because there are two T's there. A, forchetta. This is almost like Wheel of Fortune, isn't it? Trying to guess the word. And news just came over the wires that Pat Sajak is being replaced by Ryan Seacrest on Wheel of Fortune. Just came over the wire. I'll never watch it again. You have finished your review. I say thank you. Review, 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 review. Start. Okay, so I want a lesson. Here we go. We're back at our lesson here. Food and drink, our daily goal, daily streak 5. and testing out. Now I'm trying to see where food and drink. I just clicked on that and it didn't make a difference. I can't click on that to start. It must be this to start. I'll try it. Okay, must be my lesson for the day. Oh, okay, we didn't hear it.
Il latte.
Il latte, the milk. Okay, it's just asking me to listen to it, so I did. Milk. Was it la latte or was it il latte? Which word, now this is a LingoDeer thing. Which word doesn't belong here? One of these words is not like the other. I will say la, because we just learned it was il latte. Correct. Select coffee. Cafe. Select water. Aqua. It's easy to do because they have the picture there. But just wait. Water is what? La aqua? L'aqua? Il? Do you remember? I'm not sure I do. La aqua. I'm going to say L apostrophe because I think there's something that has the L. If it's L-A and the next word begins with an A or like a vowel, then you drop the A and you put the apostrophe. I'm going to try it. If I get it wrong, it's a learning experience, right? Check. Oh, I did it right. L'acqua. That's a clever rule that you need to learn in Italian. Select to drink. Bere. Thank you. Io bevo. Pronunciation.
Io bevo.
Io bevo. Tu bevi.
Tu bevi.
Tu bevi. You drink. I drink, you drink. We all drink. Io blank the cafe. I bevo. Mangio is eat. Sono am. Bevo is drink. Check and see. Continue on. You drink the milk. Now I get very confused by this between lei and tu and io and lui. But I just remember because we just did it that it's tu. Now don't ask me why because I won't remember in 5 minutes. Let's check. Oh, I got it right. Okay, here we go. This is being pronounced for us.
Un caffè latte, per favore.
Un caffè latte per favore. Okay, now look at that sentence because they're going to mess it up on us. Which word doesn't belong here? Una caffè latte per favore. Is it un or una? We just saw it. Do you remember? Which word does not belong here? I'm going to say una. And I got it right. Continue on. Select ice. Gaccio. Got that right. Drink ice water and you drink milk. Io drink is io bevo. Yeah. If it's about you, it ends in O. La acqua con ghiaccio e tu bevi il latte. And you drink the latte. Now, this is what I learned yesterday, and I think I was caught here. When you say ice water, you don't say ice water in Italian as you say it in English. You flip it around. It's water with ice. And I got caught on that because I had to spell it out on a typewriter, on a keyboard. And it took a long time to spell out that whole thing. And I got it wrong. Check, please. Thank you. Now we do a mix and match. Cafe is coffee. Ghiaccio is ice. Aqua, water. Latte, milk. Now, if you spend a lot of time, like in a Starbucks or a coffee shop, you know some of these words already. Okay, you drink a caffè latte. Bevi il latte, bevi il caffè latte. Bevi la caffè latte. Beve il caffè latte. Which is it? I don't really know because we'll pick this one and see if we get it wrong. Check. Okay, now we got it wrong and it's all red. You drink caffè latte. Beve il caffè latte. Bevi il caffè latte. Beve il caffè latte. So it's this one is the correct answer. Okay, so that's what it looks like when you make a mistake. And it's a terrible sound, which I had turned off, that you don't ever want to hear. When you get it right, it's like a cash register. When you get it wrong, it's like a smash. Oh, here we go. I drink ice water and you drink milk. Okay, so I is io. I drink, I bevo. Ice water. Okay, now this is where it's very water with ice. Okay, so it's acqua con ghiaccio and you. It's two. You and you beve. Is it la latte? Il latte? We just had it. See, I can't remember because I'm all nervous. La latte. Il latte. I don't think it's la latte. It's not L because this is an L. I think it's la. I'll try la latte. Meow. And see, they lift all these behind to trick you. Oh, io bevo l'acqua. That's where I'm in the music. Con ghiaccio e tu bevi il latte. Yeah, I messed that all up. It's very embarrassing. That's what I mean. Duolingo would never do that to you. It's much kinder, and it almost immediately lets you correct your mistakes. With LingoDeer, you get punched in the face, and then, the next one you get punched in the mouth. You drink caffè latte. Okay, they're making us do this over again. Beve il caffè latte. Beve la caffè latte. Il caffè latte. I don't remember. This is a review, but I got it right. Whew! Beve il caffè latte. Okay, I drink ice water and you drink milk. Okay, now here we go all over again. I drink. It was l'acqua. Con ghiaccio. And you beve il latte. Oh, I got it right. See, they made me do it all over again. I made the whole mistake, and that's why you have to pay attention when you make a mistake. You should write it down so then you can look at it when it comes right back up. But at least we corrected our mistakes. Ice water, please. Okay, so this is the L word. L'acqua. Con ghiaccio, per favore. Okay, ice water, please. L'acqua con ghiaccio, per favore. I'm saying it's correct. It is correct. Oh no! Typing. Please type the sentence, including the spaces. Please install the input method of the language method first. Oh, gee. Please type. Oh. Okay. I bevo space la acqua. I drink water. Bevo l'acqua. Q. That's not right. A Q. Aqua. A. That's not right. Okay, I didn't spell it right, so how do I go back? A Q U L'aqua. It's still not right. Oh, this is why you have to pay attention. Aqua. A C Q U A. L'aqua. I think that's right. Here we go. Test it. Oh, got it right. Lucky. As you see, you type it in, and then you look at it, and it's not right, and you go backspace, and you got to do it right again. Exhausted. I drink coffee. Type the sentence, including the spaces, young man. I, EO space. Drink, we know is BEVO space. Ill, right? Cafe space. CAFFE. Now, the E with the accent mark on top of it is really important. And if you don't have a keyboard that does that, you got to find a keyboard that does that, because there are some, not Duolingo, who will punish you for not including the carets over the E and other words. Check. Whew. We're almost done. Oh, look at that. We are done. Whew. Perfecto. 10 XP. 5 stars. That's probably the best I've received so far from LingoDeer, because it's very difficult. And then we have a next lesson. Are there learning tips to share? No learning tips. Oh, here we go. We got a learning tip. Okay, now this is what I've learned is very important with LingoDeer. This is really the key to everything you're going to do in the lesson. But it's sort of hard to find because on your app, on your phone, it's like a little thing that looks like a little piece of paper at the very top. And you have to click on it, and then this cheat sheet shows up that shows you everything you're going to do in the lesson. And you just have to remember it. Mangiare and bere, singular conjugations in the present tense. Io, tu, lui, lei, mangia, beve, mangi, beve, mangio, bevo. So this is, if I had read this at the beginning of the lesson, I would not have made all the mistakes that I made. Although my mistakes were not as terrible as they probably should have been. So that is LingoDeer. We have more to come. Lots of different ways to learn a language, and it doesn't have to be Italiano. It can be whatever the heck you want to learn, including English. I thank you so much for being here. We had a wonderful show. I will see you again soon. Take care. You know where to find me. I'll post all the links we talked about today on our Discord server. I'll see you soon. Take care. Be well. Bye.